everybody and welcome to Her Story Women in Loyalism. My name's Leanne Abernethy and I'm here with Sandra today. Hello Sandra.
Morning, Leanne.
How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad, but nervous.
Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't know.
Do you know what, but it's been a long time for me and you have both sat in
It
these
has,
chairs.
it's a long time since I've sat here.
I know, I wasn't here for the last one. I think it was Sonia and Petula that were sitting chatting, so thank you to them. On 23rd of December I took sick. And this is now March and I'm only starting to feel better.
Yeah.
See that flipping cold?
That was awful. I had it too, but I'm not too bad now, just the coughing.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I think people were loving it because, well, me and you both couldn't really talk.
No, keep quiet.
Yeah, so I think people had a lot of an easier life. Anyway, what have you been up to?
Nothing as usual.
That's your life, isn't it?
That's my life. And went on a trip with the Ulidia Centre.
Right, okay.
Concerning the siege of Londonderry.
Right, that was last Saturday, wasn't it?
1st of March.
Right, okay, so it's a couple of Saturdays ago,
Saturdays
nearly.
ago.
And tell me all about it.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. I think everybody that I was talking to really enjoyed it. We started off in the Siege Museum, and the man who was showing us around then sort of explained what I was going to do and all that. And we went out and we walked around half of the walls.
Why only half?
Because it was far enough. And showed us all, you know, the cannons, and explained to us about why the flag was red, you know, put up and it was red. And there's, I can't remember the name of the thing, but there was like a big huge tower.
Right.
Which had been blown up in the Troubles, but the bottom half, they had fixed that up. And we got into it, and up was that staircase, which was metal, which terrified us slipping off. But it just so interesting. Stuff that personally I never knew.
Right.
And I wasn't taught at school, and I don't know if it's taught in school yet or not, which I think's sad.
Right. So this is stuff that's part of our history.
Yeah.
And you didn't know it.
No.
That's very sad, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, especially when it's only up the road from us, really.
I know.
And then what else were you up to when you were up?
We, as I say, showed us around the walls and the cannons. And there's one of them they called Meg. I think that was actually the last one fired, if memory serves me right. And then there was lots of photographs taken. I was looking at a photograph that somebody had took, and Pachilla was standing beside the cannon, and Sonia had her head nearly in it, and I sort of thought, dear God, if that thing went off, you would have no head. You know, I thought it was hilarious. But he explained all of it. There was Bishop's Gate and, you know, different things.
Yeah.
Just too much for my head
Right.
to hold on to, you know. But if there was another one, I would go again.
Right.
That was just so interesting. And as I say, we walked around there and he told us a whole lot of different things, and about the Mountjoy breaking the boom, which I hadn't a clue even what the boom was.
Right.
And sort of like, you know, stuff like the Jacobites had built the boom, and then the red flag went up and letting us say they were under stress and, you know, needed help. And there was a map which amazed me of how actual small Londonderry was at that time. Obviously it's a lot bigger now, but it just looked so small, and how they ever held that, you know, it amazes me. We learnt about the people that were inside the walls, Protestants that were inside the walls, and the majority of them died with sort of diseases, starvation, you know, all that kind of thing, and stuff they had to eat to survive, you know. I just said, oh dear, help them. You know what I mean? It was like women, children, you know, everything. There was actually more died, I think, of starvation and diseases than were actually killed in the shooting, or you want to call it, in the siege. And it went on for 105 days from April to August 1689. And then there was names of men that were important, and I learnt why there's the burning of Londonderry, which I didn't know. And I found out why they take the shoes off before they burn them.
Right, tell me more.
Well, I actually had asked Priscilla this morning because I couldn't remember. That was for visitors that were coming to Londonderry. I think I'm right, I may be wrong. But then I learnt about how the apprentice boys started off. That amazed me. You know, it was 13 apprentices closed the gates of Derry.
Yeah.
I'm saying Derry, but that's the way he put it over. And that's how the apprentice boys come to be formed, although it wasn't, I think it was nearly a year after that before they were formed, 30, 40 years. Just so much interesting stuff that my head didn't hold on to, you know, but that map stuck in my head of how small it was and how they held off them thousands of Jacobites and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then how the Mountjoy broke the boom. And then they started to pull back.
It sounds like you learnt a lot.
Oh, I did. I just wish I could remember it all.
And do you think if you went back and did the same thing again, you would learn more each time you went back?
My memory would hold more,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. That was totally, totally amazing. So interesting, unbelievable. And then we went back to the Siege Museum, and they had a lot of memorabilia and stuff, you know, for sale and stuff. So if there's ever another one, I'll be taking more money with me than I had, because they had a couple of books, and I would love to be reading them.
Yeah.
You know, really interesting stuff. And they took us into the back where the museum was, and they have the sword, if I'm right, from the Murray family. And then there is a statue of a man, the way the apprentice boys now, you know, point their finger. And I think he was Murray, I'm not sure. And then there's a glass replica of the ship,
Right.
Mountjoy. And Bandura had sent a crystal man point, I think, was Campsay, I think.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And Bandura is where our member Petula lives.
That's right. And
Very proud Bandura
that's
woman.
why I want to mention it.
That sounds really good. I didn't go with you
Yeah.
because I was busy working, and I know it was Ulidia Community Empowerment that run it, but there was quite a few members of Her Story that went on it, wasn't there?
The majority of Her Story.
That's very good. I didn't go, but I did it a few years ago. Her Story went up and did it, and it was really interesting because I was learning more about Walker. And, you know, I'm a Castle Caulfield woman, and I went to Walker Memorial Primary School,
Yes.
and that's where Walker is buried, is in Castle Caulfield. And I didn't know it until I went to the Siege
Yeah.
Museum and they told me.
Uh-huh.
So I think there is a big thing there that
Aye.
we aren't learning enough.
Definitely.
But, you know, have you any suggestions on what we could do about that? How do we get it that our young people and our adults are more aware of our history?
Well, I suppose things like Her Story and the Ulidia Centre doing what they're doing, but if there was some way of getting our own history
Yeah.
rather than Irish history, if we sort of could focus more on Northern Ireland history.
Yeah.
But it's not in the curriculum as far as, well, I don't know if it's changed or not, but I know when I was at school it definitely wasn't in it.
Yeah.
I think we done one day in Irish history, you know, and that was 1918, all that kind of stuff.
But it's difficult as well, because even as groups, and you're looking at, you know, we need to put this out here, we need to do more. But whenever you run workshops, it doesn't always suit everybody to go to them.
That's right.
And people that need to hear it aren't able to hear
That's
it.
right.
So it's maybe a wee bit of work we need to do in her story about maybe trying to develop something and put it out in social media or make it more accessible.
Yeah.
Maybe get somebody from the Sage Museum down someday and we can interview them here.
Absolutely.
Put it out in our podcast.
That man was absolutely fantastic. I can't even remember his name now, but he was so full of knowledge, and he was fit to name dates, and you know, it was just, I could have listened to him all day. You know
And
what I
that's
mean?
what you want. You want to get carried away with somebody that's passionate and you can nearly live it in your head, can't you?
Yeah. There's just so much information, and everybody, as far as I know, that I've been talking to had a brilliant day. Brilliant day. And as I say, I would actually like to read up on it a bit more. So if I can't borrow a book, I'm going to see if I can get one.
Just right, treat yourself. So whenever you were up in Londonderry, is that all you did, was do the walk in the Sage Museum?
No, we had our lunch in the Sage Museum, which was absolutely lovely.
Was it?
It wasn't anything fancy, but that's fine by me. I don't.
Can I just say that I was at work during the day, and the bus came back near to where my work was, and not one of you came over and brought me a wee something nice.
Well, I ate all mine, so I couldn't bring you a doggy bag. So
Okay, got it. I sat patiently waiting for you to come back to see what you would bring me.
I don't even know you were in the office, to tell you the truth.
Not a thing at all, no, that's okay.
Brilliant. That was brilliant.
And what else did you do? Did you just go shopping?
Yes. Mandy, one of her story ladies, and me, were so excited with going to Primark. And she got a few things, and I got nothing.
Oh, did you not?
No.
Well, you got it.
Absolutely.
It's really annoying, isn't it, when you're thinking, I'm going somewhere, I'm going to buy something, and then you see absolutely nothing you want.
There was nothing popped out, you know, but that's the way it is.
And was the crack good on the bus?
It was, bit noisier coming home, but crack was good, you know, and the bus driver's a lovely man.
Right.
Really lovely man, so he was. And when we got home around 5-ish, 5:30, something like that there, you know, but it was an absolutely fantastic day. And as I say, I would go again if they were running it.
I'm very pleased to hear that, because whenever we were looking at her story and starting her story up, the whole thing was around the fact that Ulidia Community Empowerment was running programs and women didn't really attend. And that's why we thought we need her story to help raise women's confidence. So for you to turn around and say that the bus and people going on the trip was nearly all women, that sounds really good, because that makes it sound like her story's working then.
Oh, definitely. I think there's only 3 men.
Right, okay.
And there's, I don't know how many women, but there's a good 8 anyway.
Right.
I think. I don't want to sit and count now, but I was definitely majority of women.
Yeah.
And there's definitely only 3 men.
And then I know some of the Londonderry ones joined in
They did,
whenever they
that's
got
right.
up to London, whenever the bus went up to
They did.
Londonderry. So that's really good. Do you think if you weren't a part of her story, would you have went on that trip if you'd just seen it advertised normally?
Probably no, I would definitely wouldn't have, because I'm the type of person, I'm not comfortable with strangers.
Right.
You know, and because I was in her story, I knew the girls, and I knew 2 of the men, made me feel more comfortable. But if I had seen it advertised, you know, just to sort of go myself, no, I wouldn't have went.
And I know it's part of a whole series of things that Ulidia Community Empowerment's doing at the minute. They're doing a range of talks over in Bandura. And again, Petula, our member, it's her brother Gary, is doing the talks. And I've heard really good reports about them. I didn't get over because her story were running cancer awareness sessions in Bushmills, unfortunately, at the same time. But it's good to see all that stuff going on in the community.
Absolutely. I seen it advertised this morning, and I have decided I'm going to go the night because it's to do with Enniskillen.
Yeah.
And I want to go the night, so I'll have to talk nice to the girls when I go home.
Very good. I know I wanted to go to the one tonight, but my wee boy Alfie, he's going on a residential tomorrow. So we're going to have to pack bags and get him ready. First ever residential. So you can imagine what I'm like.
Oh,
Bundle of nerves, and he's loving it.
I don't want to. I wouldn't want to be in your company tomorrow.
I know, I'm such a mummy. But no, thank you very much for talking to me. And I know we met yesterday and we were
Yes.
talking about the Good Friday Agreement again. We're still researching it. We've
Yeah.
been at it quite a while. But we were talking about pilot projects that Her Story are looking at for
Yeah.
the future.
Yes.
And I know that you got really excited.
I am so excited. It's just so full of information, and like for somebody that is my age group, we weren't taught them things.
Yeah, so we're looking at, we don't want to go into too much detail because it's still in the early stages, but it's more around political awareness and understanding what goes on within council and Stormont and Westminster. So we'll be approaching our political parties very soon, won't we?
We'll have to be very nice.
And so it's a work in progress.
That is.
But it was really good yesterday when I was pitching it to you all and you were going, this is great. We could really see it working.
Yeah.
We love it because it's the next stage for us.
Absolutely. And like, I'm in Her Story, roughly 1.5 to 2 years.
Yep.
I'm one of the babies as such, and I'm learning continually. Like, even as much as to use a laptop. You taught me that yesterday too.
You did very well yesterday. But it's all small steps, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Really?
For me, it's small steps and building up the confidence and getting to know the girls, and you know, it's just opened so many doors.
That's good. You know, I think sometimes people think I know loads of things, but Google is my best friend.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting at times going, I don't have a clue. Go on to Google, watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Then I pretend that I knew how to do it all along. Really,
Well,
no notion.
We weren't reared with mobiles and stuff, and I forget about Google, to be honest.
It's very good. But thank you very much for coming in. And
No
thank you for the
problem at
chat.
all.
And it's maybe something we'll look at if we can get a bit of funding together
Yeah.
to go back up to Londonderry and maybe do the Siege Museum again and maybe look at a few other things.
Yeah.
Back whenever we first started up, we did go and we did the Bloody Sunday Museum and we did the Siege Museum and a few other things, but that was before you had joined us.
before my time,
So we've quite a few new members from
Yeah.
then, so it's maybe good to go back and revisit.
Well, I have no problem going again.
Well, that's good. Well, here, thank you very much.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And thank you, everybody, for listening in. Goodbye.